The evolution of traditional to new media. There was no medium in the beginning of time, and such, communication was expressed through gestures and sounds. Thus, if a person A would communicate indirectly to person C, it would be delivered by person B. That is why communication through media cannot be as advanced and has been easily accessed if it did not go through stages of development and innovation. For instance, television revolutionized the 20th century and then was followed by the birth of the internet that made search of improvements. Tracking back, man existed approximately 200,000 years ago and showed evidence of communication through cave paintings and sculptures. Then the Renaissance brought the invention of the printing press that leaped to the invention of the photographs, telegraphs, mobile phones, and of course, the internet in the present time. Welcome to our lesson for today with the hashtag Media Evolution. Through this session, we will be unfolding our mission. First, we are going to juxtapose traditional media and new media and their relationships. Second, editorialize the roles and functions of media in democratic society. Third, assess the type of media in the Philippines as compared to the normative theories of the press. And the fourth one, evaluate the impact of these issues to Philippine democracy. Let us define media. Media is considered communication outlets or tools used to store and deliver information or data. The term media, which is the plural form of medium, refers to the communication channel through which we disseminate news, music, movies, education, promotional messages, and other data. It describes the various ways through which we communicate in society. It also refers to components of mass media communications such as print media, which includes all types of publications such as newspaper, journals, magazines, books, and reports. Broadcast media. Broadcast media refers to radio and television, which came onto the scene at the beginning and the middle of 20th century, respectively. New media or internet, specifically websites and blogs, are rapidly emerging as viable and major channels of communication as more and more people seek news, entertainment, and educational material online. Let us now differentiate traditional media versus new media. In traditional media, the media experience is limited, while in new media, it is more interactive. Traditional media is a one-directional way, while on new media, the audience are more involved and can send feedback simultaneously. In traditional media, the sense receptors are used very specifically, while on the other hand, in new media, it integrates all the aspects of old media. And to further understand the differences between the two, let us juxtapose traditional media versus new media. Let us know their components to identify their distinctions. First, in terms of media experience, traditional media is limited, while the new media is interactive. The process. The traditional media is one-directional, while the new media is cyclical or multi-directional. In terms of coverage, traditional media is limited, while the new media, it has a wider scope or global. For exposure, traditional media is rapid, while new media is slow. For costing, traditional media is relatively high, while new media is relatively slow. For sense receptors, in traditional media, it is specific or finite, while in new media, it is integrative or infinite. The focus. The focus of traditional media is for news and information, while on the other hand, for new media, it is interaction among communities. It may offer entertainment, news, and information. In terms of form, traditional media is single, while new media is convergent. And lastly, the efficiency. Traditional media is fixed and unchangeable, while on the other hand, new media is instant and updatable. In a nutshell, we can say that traditional media are types of media that have been used since before the internet and mobile phone technology were developed. It allows people to reach a mass audience at once. While new media, it transmits content through connection and conversation. It enables people around the world to share, comment on, and discuss a wide variety of topics. In spite of the way it's often positioned, traditional and new media do not have to go head to head. These mediums can actually be used together to make our communication, stronger than ever. Traditional and new media can complement one another. Roles and functions of media in a democratic society. Media played an important role in democracy when the newspaper came into existence in the 1970s. It is the backbone of democracy since it makes the readers aware of social, political, and economic activities in the government. It mirrors what is the truth, reminding the politicians of their unfulfilled promises during election. The excessive coverage coming from TV news channels during elections helps people, especially illiterate, in electing the right person to power. As a watchdog, media exposes the loopholes in the democratic system. Not only this, but media also promotes democratic ideals by providing correct information despite the commercialism nature of media. Thus, media may serve as a bridge, a mediator between a man and the government that will bring out many issues for accountability and transparency. Media strengthens public service through dissemination of public information through the various channels such as newspaper, radio, television, and social networks. However, media may have the tendency to sensationalize issues, bloating a simple news into controversy. The public may be at times confused as to distinguish fake news and real news. It is best to listen and watch several avenues of news sources.
Functions of communication and media. The first function is the monitoring function. It is to inform citizens of what is happening. It is considered the surveillance as the eyes and ears for those seeking information about the world. Examples: the second is information function. This is to educate the audience with the meaning and significance of facts. It is also the ability of media to teach the various norms, rules, and values. For instance, watching educative and documentary show. The third function is opinion function. This is to provide a platform for public political discourse. It is to facilitate public opinion and expression of dissent. Public opinion refers to the views prevalent among the general public, while on the other hand, when we say dissent, this is a strong difference of opinion, a disagreement especially about official decisions. Examples: the fourth function is watchdog role of journalism. It denounces the wrongdoing of the government and the private, which leads to decreasing of accountability and spearheading positive change. It spotlights the wrongdoing and injustices of the government or even in the private sectors. When we say watchdog, it is a person or organization that makes sure that companies, even the government, are not doing anything illegal or wrong. Examples: and lastly, the think function is a channel for advocacy and political viewpoints. In media and government, there are four types of normative theories of the press: the authoritarian theory, the Soviet media theory, the libertarian theory, and the social responsibility theory. Normative theories of the press. Media theory refers to the complex of social, political, philosophical principles which organize ideas about the relationship between media and society. Authoritarian theory. This is considered the oldest form of theory of the press. Media are not allowed to print or broadcast authority, which could undermine the established authority and does not question the state's authority. The role of the press is to educate the public of government politics and prevent threats by using censorship. In this theory, all forms of communication are under the control of the governing elites and authorities, and the works of media are suspected to censorship. Censorship means suppression of any communication which may consider as harmful to people. This is familiar in press, which is against the freedom of expression and freedom of speech. Types of censorship: political, moral, religious, military, and corporate. In this theory, we can say that the role of the press is to be the servant of the government. The second theory, Soviet media theory. Media organizations in this system were not intended to be privately owned and were to serve the working class. It provides restriction on the press, which is about societal change by influencing communist values and denouncing democratic rights. This is a state-owned and closely controlled media existing only as arms of state. In other words, Soviet media theory, also known as totalitarian theory, the press is run by the government to serve the government's own needs. There were criticisms between the two. The main difference between the authoritarian theory and Soviet media theory is that while the former allows both private and public media ownership, the latter allows strictly only public media ownership. Another difference is that while the authoritarian media mainly focus to maintain the societal status quo, the Soviet media is often used to bring about societal changes. Authoritarian is a one-way communication process. There is no feedback allowed from the public. While the Soviet media, it is a two-way communication. At the same time, the whole media is controlled and works under the same leadership. Libertarian theory. Media may attack on the government policies and even encourage. Moreover, there should be no restrictions on import and export of media messages across the national frontiers. The press is free to report on the government. Freedom of information is generated with no restriction and censorship. There is no law governing media operators. The press belongs to the people and serves as an independent observer of the government. In this system, functions of press are to inform, entertain, and advertise. Social responsibility theory. Media should accept and fulfill certain obligation to society. In this theory, the press should adhere to codes of conduct and social responsibilities to serve the public without outside interference. Obligations are mainly to be met by setting high professional standard to informativeness, truth, accuracy, objectivity, and balance. The press is obliged to serve several social functions. The first, to provide the news and information needed to make the political system works. Second, to give the public the information needed to self-governance. Third, to serve as an overseer of the government. Fourth, to provide entertainment. Question: what type of media do we have here in the Philippines? Thank you for your academic indulgence. Hashtag Media Evolution.